All right, guys, so with our first clip successfully graded, let's head over to our next clip, which is this clip of me and my friend Ben next to his really cool Land Rover. The sun was setting, and there's a couple different things that I would want to do to this image. The main one being just to intensify the sunset, make it look more intense, because right now it looks kind of chill, mellow, not too crazy, but I think we can bring a lot more color and life to this. So the first thing that we can do is just to experiment, just to see what things look like, is we can head over to this first clip over here and just middle mouse click on it to apply that same grade to this clip. And right away, it looks okay, doesn't look too bad. And we can use this as a base if we want to. There's nothing wrong with that. If we head over to our nodes, we can see that we have that same node tree that we've just created in that first clip applied to this one, just by middle mouse clicking on it. Now the middle mouse click button, it's really just a shortcut to apply grade. So if you don't have a mouse, you can just right click on the other clip and select apply grade, and it will apply that grade that was on that first clip to the other clip that's selected, which has that red border around it here. So why don't we just reset this? So we can go up to color, reset all grades and nodes. And let's take a look at our LUTs again. So we'll head over to our LUTs over here to the left, the KC LUT pack. Why don't we enable split screen selected LUTs, and let's just go through these, see which ones look good. And a lot of these have a cool, unique style. KC8 looks pretty cool. 9 looks good too. So we'll just remember 9 is a good LUT. And let's apply that base node tree. And we can do that by going into the gallery over here. That's obviously one quick way to do it. Or I can also just apply the previous grade over here and then go up to color, reset, grades, and keep nodes. So it reset all of the grades, but it kept the nodes. Now remember, the base node tree that I have here in my stills is just the base node tree. The first clip that we graded over here, we added a couple different nodes to it, right? We added these two nodes over here for the sky and the ground, right? So those are additional nodes that we've added. So we've already expanded our base node tree. So what we can do is with this new base node tree over here, because we've reset it, right? By going up to color and reset. So grades, we've reset all the grades on each one of the nodes, but we've kept all the nodes. So what we could do is save this as another base node tree. So what we could do is right click over here, grab still. So what we could do with this new still is right click on it and select change label. And we can call this base node tree number 2. Cool. So now we have another base node tree, and this is the natural progression of your base node trees. The more you grade, the more you'll understand what you want in your base node tree. So as you grade more and more, your base node trees are going to develop, your style is going to develop, and you're going to be like, oh, maybe instead of just the top and bottom windows over here, you'll want a right and left window as well to, focus on the right side of the image and the left side of the image. And you might want to add another node that focuses on maybe like the center. So it might be like a window for just a circle in the center. Your base node trees are going to evolve as you continue to color grade. The one that we've created in the base node tree window is very simple, and it's just kind of a base really to start for anyone. And depending on what it is that you're doing, you will develop your node tree from there. So let's close split screen over here, and let's apply that LUT that caught our eye, KC9, to the LUT node over here. And we'll close off LUTs. And now let's start playing around. So let's go into primaries and see if we want to make any changes to our primaries. Now, depending on the look that you want, you might want to bring up the temperature maybe a little bit. Even that goes a long way. Command Z. It gives it a bit more pop. I like it. I also like the cooler look too. So it's subjective. It's really what makes you feel, what feels right to you. This is with the primaries turned on. This is with primaries turned off. So we're giving it a bit more warmth. I do like that. I think it's good. So let's stick with the warmer look. Now in this case, we don't need any noise reduction, so we don't have to worry about that. And I would say the contrast looks good. I wouldn't want to add any more contrast. I feel good about that. Now let's start focusing on different areas of our image here. So First things first, let's try to give this sky a bit more pop. I want to make it look juicy. I want to make it look like this is one of the craziest sunsets ever. And thankfully with DaVinci, it's not that hard to do that. So let's go to our parallel nodes here. Let's select the sky. So I'll grab the qualifier. I'll make a selection of the sky, Shift A to show me what I'm selecting. And that's looking pretty good. The sky has a much greater luminance than a lot of the other things around. So just from the luminance alone, it's able to make a really good selection here. And even the mountains, it's selecting a little bit of the mountains here and there. But what we could do is play around with the matte finesse over here so we can bring up the clean black, and we can see that already we've eliminated those little spots that were in the mountains over there. And don't worry about a little bit of leakage. We're going to be combining this with a window to refine our selection area even more. Make sure to zoom out. That looks good to me. Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm stoked with that. We want to make sure that we're not selecting this car for this one. We might want to make individual changes to that later on. So that looks good to me. So why don't we go over to our power window, grab the curve, and just draw a line along the mountain over here. Just making sure that I'm not going too low, so I'm not, accidentally including any of these spots over here. I really just want to select the sky. That's it. And I'll do a big loop around like that, so we have that additional space. And I'm just gonna hit Command T on my keyboard to automatically start tracking. And because it's a short clip, we don't have any issues. That was really easy. That's awesome how easy that is. And of course, if we want to blur out the inside or outside of that window that we just created, we can as well. It's usually smart to do that. So just a tiny bit will do for this. And cool, so now we have a really good selection of just the sky. So if I hit Shift A or Shift H, we could turn off highlight. And now let's start playing around with just the sky. So with that selected, let's go over to our primaries. And I want to make it more pink. I probably want to make it a bit more warm as well. So I'm just making it warmer, making it a bit more pink as well, combination of the two. And you could play around with these colors, really take it in any direction that you want. Command D to turn that on and off. And that looks beautiful. Just like that, we've added so much more color to the sky. And it looks like it's a completely different vibe, right? Like this looks pretty chill, same color as the ocean, doesn't catch your eye as much. And then all of a sudden we've added this pop to it. We've brought so much life to this image. And again, this is 8-bit phone footage. So that just excites me. If this doesn't excite you, then you got to check yourself, because we're living in a pretty awesome time where we can make these kind of adjustments to phone footage. It's awesome. And it looks good. We're not getting any banding. The edge looks crispy over there on the mountains. We don't really have that color seeping through onto the mountains at all. We've made a really good selection with the qualifier. I really like that. I think it looks great. So next thing I want to do to just bring our viewers' attention to the subjects over here is to darken the bottom part of the image here. So I'll head over to these other two parallel nodes that we've created earlier. And with this top one, or bottom one actually over here selected, let's go and create a new gradient window. Shift A. And remember, I added the shortcut Shift A to show highlight because I don't want to have tendinitis when I'm older, because going over and hitting Shift H requires you to do a lot more work with your hand. And I'm not down. That's going to cause tendinitis later on. So Shift A is also an option on Ravenclaw. So Shift A, turn that highlight off, and let's darken the bottom of our image over here. I want to bring the viewer's attention to the center of the image. I don't want the viewer to be focusing on what's happening down there. Not as interesting. Minimal. Actually, we did bring this curve down quite a bit. And if we turn that node on and off, we can see the difference that it's made. Looks pretty good. And to be honest, like this is a commercial shoot. If I was wanting to make things like perfect, pristine, I would probably just clean up these little things in here too, clean up this as well, either in Fusion or with object removal in the color tab, but that would be reserved for another video. And I think I might play around with the sky, with the luminance of the sky here too. So with this other node selected over here, the parallel node, let's go over, create a new window for the sky. Let's bring it over here. And let's brighten it up a tiny bit, just a tad, a smidge. And let's see, with both of these nodes selected, Command D to see what they're doing. It's minimal, but it goes a long way. And of course, it's subjective. This is what looks good to me. Maybe you would like to keep the image without those windows. It's totally fine. You know, there's no right or wrong. I personally do like the windows a little bit. I feel like maybe the top window here is a bit too intense. So I'll bring it down a tiny bit. But it's these minimal changes, Cool, that all looks good to me. Let's go back to these parallel nodes here. And why don't we do something with the car as well? So I'll grab the qualifier and see right now, like this is just me experimenting. Like I don't actually know if I want to change the car. I think the car looks fine, but maybe I can do something to it to make it stand out a bit more or make the scene look a bit more interesting. This is the experimentation process, right? So that looks good to me. Why don't we combine that with a window? Cool, Command T to track it. Should be an easy track. We'll head over to the tracker over here and we will track backwards. Easy, no problemo. Go back into here, inside, feather it a tiny bit, increase that softness, Shift A to turn it on and off. And now we can make some adjustments to just the car if we wanted to. So maybe we can brighten it up. That actually does look good to me. I like it a bit brighter there. Gives it a bit more pop. We can turn that on and off. And we can rename it. So hit R, we can call this car. And that's the thing with these parallel nodes. They don't really just have to be like color ranges. I know some colorists like to do that where this will be greens, this will be reds, this will be blues. You can also just isolate individual items. You are the one in control. You can do whatever you want. This one up here, we can call it sky. And this bottom one, I don't really know if we're gonna wanna make any more adjustments. I feel pretty good about this. So Shift D, let's turn everything on and off. Crazy, guys. Look at how far we've taken this image. I'm going to expand this. Let's just really let's let this sink in. So this is what we were dealing with at the start. Pretty simple, not much going on, and we've added so much life to this. It looks beautiful. And slapping some film grain on at the end of this will just make it look even vibier. Film grain is typically added. I like to add it on the timeline nodes. So then there's just film grain sitting on top of everything. But yeah, guys, I'm stoked on this. This looks great. I think we've successfully color graded clip number 2. And of course, what we can do is right click on this, grab the still. That way we have this look within our gallery as well. And if at any point we want to apply this same grade to any other clips, we have it right here and we can do that very easily. Now it's added to the power grade album because we had power grade album selected. We can simply just take this, drag it into stills 1 into the other album over here. But it's also chill to just keep it in power grades so that it's easily accessible within all the other project files within the same database. But that is clip number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. This was a fun one. We definitely took this clip a long way. I definitely recommend you guys download these clips, try these out yourselves, experiment, and just have fun with it. But that's it for this lesson. I'll see you guys in the next one.